Hello everyone, and welcome back. It's YouTube Ethys from YouTube. We are in a new house, in a new city, in an old country. I'm back in Australia. I realized that I hadn't actually posted up my 5.5 playthrough yet, so it's going to be really jarring. You guys are going to go from 5.5 video from back in, what, March? Whenever the heck that was. And then next minute, it's the end of July, and I'm in another country, and everything has changed. For better or worse remains to be seen. I think for better. April? Yeah, maybe it was April. Anyway, it's so wonderful to see you guys. I hope you're all doing well. And I hope you will forgive that the characters are going to be sounding different. And I'm going to have forgotten some stuff. But we are doing the 5.5 MSQ. And as soon as I talk to Estinian here, we're going to dive in. If you need my lance, I'll be ready. If not, I'll be reserving my strength in preparation of the next battle. Since you're here, I have a question. The Scions are in close contact with the East Aldenard Trading Company of Kugana, yes? I was wondering if they could place an order for some sun-dried squid. I don't seem to be able to find it in these parts. Ah, that's a little, Tales from the Storm illusion reference. Was it Tales from the Storm? I'm pretty sure it was in Tales from the Storm, wasn't it? I think so. I believe so. Alize, my baby, my child. Oh my goodness. Hang on, I think I got some bloom on here that I don't necessarily want. No, I don't? Okay, never mind. I've gone from Stormshade to G-Shade, and it's just not quite the same. It's kind of doing my head just a little bit. Just a little bit. Ah, Ethys, you're looking well. I take it you managed to squeeze in some rest. If you came hoping for tidings from Kryl, I'm afraid we're still waiting, but we do have some odd scraps of news to share. Scrap, she says. Lunar Primal's been popping up all over the place. But the Alliance has the situation well in hand, thanks in no small part to Hoary Boulder and the others. Oh, yes, the B team, getting their dues. Meanwhile, talks with the Beast tribes are going even better than expected. Encouraged by Uldar's progress with the Amaljar, Gridania has opened negotiations with the Ixal, believe it or not. Do you imagine if the Ixal got let back into the forest? That'd be crazy. All of which is obviously very encouraging. But with the Telophoroi still out there, it's not as if we can afford to lower our guard. Good old Hoary. My man. Poor Arenvold, though. I hope he's okay. You know? It's funny, right? I mean, in a new city, everything's different, but the one thing that's the same, the one thing that's consistent, is my Scion family. And I swear, Xenos, you hear me? Xenos, Randaniel, if you hurt any one of these precious children, I'm going to be incorrigible. If Arenvold doesn't pull through... Alright, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Beg your pardon, but I can't bear an invitation from the Alliance. A council meeting is due to be held in Alamiga, and your attendance is humbly requested.
Ah, we were just talking about the Alliance. May I ask what's on the agenda?
I believe the intention is to share news of recent developments, and discuss what measures might be taken to combat the Telophoroi, in concert with our new allies. The Beast tribes have also been invited. It is hoped that they will join us in the fight against our common foe.
So the Alliance would bring all the Beast tribes into the fold at a single stroke. An ambitious plan, given the delicacy of the negotiations, but mayhap an expedient one considering the threat we face.
Indeed, my lady. And for their part, I'm told the Beast tribes have agreed to attend. If the Scions, too, are present, all of Eorzea will be represented.
To arrange such a meeting must have been quite an undertaking, not only diplomatically, but practically. Well, Alphino, you say that, but one thing Eorzea, the nice thing about living on Heidelin is you don't have to worry about time zones. When you're trying to get a bunch of people together from different countries, at least At least it's the same bloody time everywhere. Pray inform the Alliance would be honored to participate. We shall make for Alamigo without delay.
And I will bear your answer thither with all haste. We look forward to receiving you at the Royal Palace.
Well, now that we've accepted the invitation, who exactly is going to attend? I move that you and your Stola lead our contingent. Given how long you've worked to end summoning, it's only right that you be present for what promises to be an historic moment. I think we've all played our part in that little endeavor, don't you, Ethys? Yeah, some more than others, Thancred. Some more than others. All present may rightly claim a seat, I do quite agree. But by your leave, I believe I shall remain here and lend what assistance I can to the coordination of our defensive efforts. I'm not coming either. Emmerich will be there, and I'd rather not be interrogated. Fair enough. Very well then. While those with a mind to hold the fort get on with holding it, I suggest the rest of us make for Alamigo. Shall we? You know, the Scions can never have enough Elizin. Don't worry. I've no plans to return to roaming in your absence. I know you'd only chase me if I did. Oh, no, don't chase me! Oh, Warrior of Light Senpai, don't chase me! Oh, Stinian, come on, please. I shall take this opportunity to gain a better understanding of Sir Estinian. Being Elizin of like age, it is possible we have interests in common. I wouldn't count on it, Oriange. Mayhap I shall begin by lending him a favourite treatise or two from my collection. yeah, all right. You do that, Oriange. You go ahead and do that, mate. Let me know how it goes. You watch. One day, Ethys will be a canonical member of the Scions. If we go to Sharlayan and there's an Ethys NPC, I'm just gonna I think I'm just gonna drop dead, like right there. I'm just gonna drop dead of happiness. Like the city-states, every beast tribe has its factions, each with their own agenda, making peace a complex proposition. But if the Alliance can come to an understanding with their leaders, it would be for them to resolve internal politics. Hey, how's the sound, by the way, guys? Are my levels all right? Because I can't see them. I've only got one monitor at the moment, so I have no idea. Sounds good. All right, that's good. The Amal-Shah cannot be the only tribes who have been targeted by the Telophoroi, and none of them will take kindly to having their people enslaved, nor the gods turn against them. Even with the swift intervention of the immortal flames, all too many lost their lives at Pagothan. Still, closer cooperation between our peoples will be required if we are to thwart the plans of the Telophoroi. Honestly, the look on your face, eager to bear witness to another historic moment by any chance? I suppose I am. And the fact that our cure for tempering made it possible only heightens my anticipation. You know, it must be so wild being Graha and having lived through one timeline and getting to see, like, the alternate version, you know? That must be so cool. That must be so wild. We've been expecting you. While some few guests have yet to arrive, the Alliance leaders are all present. Shall I show you in? I hope the sound is alright, by the way, guys, from a voice perspective, because this room is not very conducive to it. It's very echoey in here. Oh my goodness, this is... Oh, the gang's all here! This is so wild.
Esteemed guests, you honor us with your presence. As there is much to discuss, Let us begin.
Information on our taken brethren you have, yes? Hear it we would! Ah! Beyond forgiveness these featherless ones are! With rivers of blood shall they pay. Freed our people must be!
We too would see your kin liberated. But ere we attempt their rescue, we must first find a means to negate the risk of tempering. Without that, we will be unable even to approach the towers, let alone contend with their defenders.
Well, I think Lise didn't organize any chairs for the Beast Tribes because she knows that if they try and sit in them, there's going to be like some really bad clipping. And that's just awkward, you know, that's just embarrassing for everyone. Probably painful too, you know, if you think about it.
If all else fails, I've always found cannonballs quite effective.
And what of the prisoners? Would you see them slaughtered?
Think for a moment. Ponder, consider, think. If Merlwyb truly intended to bombard the towers, she would have done so by now. Remember, we came here to find a solution together, did we not?
Y'shtola spoke of defenders. I but offered a means to clear a path, should you require it.
Given the enemy's capabilities, we will all need to play our part if we are to have any chance of success. For if any here should give less than their best, it will be to the cost of every living being on this star.
A paragon, the Empire, our very gods. How can we hope to prevail against such odds?
That our foe is formidable, none would deny. But our strengths are many and varied. In this chamber, I see masters of strategy, masters of magic, masters of the land, the air, and the sea. And together, there is nothing in creation we cannot overcome. I beg your pardon?
Look at Nanomode's face. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my word. Where's my... Okay, here we go. I need to get that shot. There we go.
What is it, Soulwalker? Do not express your passion thus. A little tricky without deals, perhaps? Suffice it to say, I am proud to be counted amongst Eorzea's finest. We Sahagin will play our part.
We kobolds have not forgotten the crimes the Overdwellers committed against us in the past. But today we look to the future, as allies united in purpose.
Yeah, that's the Academy Award right there, isn't it? Actually sounds like he's trying to read lines or being waterboarded.
Paragon does. Turns kin into puppets, pits brother against brother. Free them from his grasp, we shall.
As Patriarch Zadar will attest, the Scions have granted us a means to free your brethren from their thraldom. This boon we will gladly share, that your people might never be enslaved again.
We accept, we accept!
Praise me!
It's taken a while, but I do believe we might be one step closer to a world without primals. Would that Minfilia were here to see it.
We still have a long way to go, and we're going to need a lot more porksies. But we're moving in the right direction.
If I may have your attention, there is one other point I would like to raise. As we can all agree, freeing those held captive must take precedence over every other concern. But experience has taught us that none save those with the capacity to resist tempering can hope to enter the towers unscathed. And even once inside, a still greater threat may yet await them, that which we call a primal. Needless to say, if we are to succeed, engaging with such foes can only ever be considered a last resort. And so I move that we seek to prevent them from being summoned in the first place.
Yes! Both prayer and ether are needed for the ritual. Should either one be denied, the summoning would fail.
Indeed. And so we must endeavor to discover the source of the ether on which the process depends. Do so, and it may present a way to halt the summonings, or perhaps even neutralize the towers entirely.
I think you're gonna come across some trouble there, Alphino.
A promising proposal. While you are conducting your investigations, however, we will need to remain vigilant, lest the Telophoroi commit further abductions and summon primals ere we have the means to prevent them. To stand a better chance of keeping our enemy at bay, we would do well to coordinate our defensive efforts, sending reinforcements to assist our neighbors when needed.
We, Amalja, would have been overwhelmed were it not for our newfound allies. But say the word, and we shall come.
That's just Rao'barn in a gorilla suit. Come on. Not kidding anyone.
I see we are all in accord. But what are we to call this proud fellowship of ours? I submit that the honor of naming it should go to the scion whose brave efforts have done so much to unite Eorzea. What say you, my friend?
Are you actually gonna let me come up with a name? I would call it... One moment, please. That's it. I would call it One Moment, Please.
Might I suggest the Grand Company of Eorzea?
Oh, that's so clever, Alize. What a great idea.
It once upon a time, and it seems as fitting a name as any.
A fine choice, for there is none here who does not love Eorzea.
Aye, in that we shall ever be united.
He ends just like, excuse me?
United in our gratitude for the realm that gave us life.
Then let it be recorded that on this day, the Grand Company of Eorzea was
He
born.
just silently, like, pushes his chair out and just walks out.
How long have we dreamed of this moment? And now that it's here, Oh, forgive me. Might we speak outside?
Alphino. Oh, my son. Oh, my precious boy. It's a pity it took the threat of annihilation for everyone to cast their grievances aside. But better late than never, I suppose. Forgive me for observing, but Alphino seems less than jubilant. Might his thoughts still be occupied by the fate of poor Arenvold? The Grand Company of Eorzea. Wonder what Riol and the other former Crystal Braves will make of it. I think that would be extremely suspicious. We have won over the leaders. Now the leaders must win over their own people. No small task, I grant you. But we have come a long way since first we joined with Minfilia to bring an end to summoning. A long, long way. Well, now that we are out of earshot of the other delegates, I hope you forgive me if I speak my mind. Let me begin by saying that I have dreamed of this day since the moment I first set foot upon these shores, and that I was as heartened as anyone to see the peoples of Eorzea pledge their solidarity. Yet even as they uttered their declarations, all I could think about was the conflict to come, of the sacrifices that would be made and the lives lost, inevitabilities that I still struggle to accept. But at least now there is hope. The formation of the Grand Company of Eorzea is the first step, the first of many. Oh, Nandeo. Elder Seedseer, how might we be of service? I seek Master Alfino's assistance in a matter involving Gridania's neighbors, the sylphs. I know that you and yours have long kept a weather eye upon the crystal trade, the better to predict the coming of primals, and so you will be familiar with the sylphs of the Ash Crown Consortium. Yes, there's another little 1.0 tie-in. Through their dealings, they have cultivated relations not only with the city-states, but many other communities besides. Communities such as the Beast Tribes. Just so. It is our hope that we may make use of the sylphs' established lines of communication to coordinate the efforts of our new fellowship. Yet there remain certain practical differences between a trade consortium and a grand company. If the sylphs are to perform their task effectively, they will require the counsel of one versed in the operational aspects of an armed force. An armed force founded with the self-same goal in mind, no less. The Crystal Braves, yes. Forgive me, Master Alfino. I know that it was a painful chapter in your life, but the experience may yet be the experience may yet be made to serve the realm. In my hubris, I plotted a course for the Crystal Braves which stretched far beyond the Order's initial conception, one intended to pave the way for the founding of what I intended to call the Grand Company of Eorzea. But my plans all came to naught. Built upon a frail foundation of lofty ideals, the Order was doomed from the first to collapse under the weight of more worldly interests. And I have no wish to see this new endeavor suffer the same fate. Mayhap I ask too much of you. Not at all. You may count upon my assistance for what little it is worth. By your leave, I shall prepare a report, including a list of recommendations drawing on the lessons I learned from the failures of the Crystal Braves. You have my gratitude, Master Alfino, and my trust. When your report is ready, pray share it directly with the sylphs. With your guidance and the earnest efforts of every goodly soul gathered here this day, I have no doubt but that our fellowship shall emerge from the shadow of the Telophoroi and flourish. Until next we meet, my friends. That guy there, she rescued from the ruins of Fourchenault. He was a Garlean soldier that was on the brink of death when she was out in Fourchenault looking for Tupsamati. And her other guards were about to kill him, about to put him out of his misery. And she healed him. And he defected and joined her and has been kind of following her ever since. And he's completely in love with her. Before committing anything to writing, there are a number of people whose thoughts I should like to hear. Former Braves, you understand. Might you join me in seeking them out? Alright, let's do it. This will be good. Thank you. As someone who witnessed the Order's rise and fall, yours would be a reassuring presence. I'll join you, If you're planning to canvass the opinions of your former comrades, it'd be a lot quicker if we share the task of questioning them. Then mayhap Graha can lend a hand as well. I shall accompany Thancred back to the Rising Stones. Between us, I dare say we should be able to provide an accurate enough account of the day's events. We should be glad of your company, Graha. I shall explain the details on the way. Again, I'm pretty sure that Graha would know the history of the Crystal Braves. Like reasonably well. I take it we will soon be paying the sylphs a visit. How fascinating it will be to speak with them in person. Though I gather the conversation could prove rather challenging. It will not be easy to revisit the past, but sometimes one must look back to see the way forward. So, what's the plan, brother mine? Before discussing the task at hand, I should probably admit that the report I proposed is largely written. Not long after that fateful day in Uldar, I penned a detailed account of the organization's history, from the events that led to its inception to the failings that brought about its demise. This I did primarily as a means of taking some semblance of responsibility. Never did I imagine that it might later be referred to by those seeking to form a similar organization. And while I made every attempt to be objective, the account was mine alone, its events viewed from my singular perspective. For it to be of use, however, it must be broadened to encompass the viewpoints of all involved. Only then can it answer what seems to me to be the crucial question, namely, why, after the Crystal Braves disbanded, did some members choose to remain with us, while others did not? I see. You think the answer will tell us something about the nature of the ties that bind our new Grand Company together? And that this knowledge might help us prevent it from falling apart when those bonds are inevitably tested? That is my hope, yes. But the questions I would ask are uncomfortable to some. As the former commander of the Crystal Braves, I doubt that those who abandon the cause will welcome my inquiries. Then Graha and I will just have to try. Meanwhile, the two of you can talk to the ones who kept the faith. A fine suggestion. Have care, however. Certain of my former comrades are of questionable character, so keep your wits about you. Let us reconvene in Gridania later on. Yeah, well, those two slimy buggers are still in jail here in Alamigo, aren't they? If you have no objections, I have a mind to begin by speaking with Riol and Alian. If memory serves, the two of them will be attending an intelligence briefing at Castle Oriens. Let us seek them out there. This is very concerning. The amount of time in the last two patches that we've been spending with the B team, you know? Everyone was saying, like, oh, death unto dawn, you know, someone's gonna beef it, someone's gonna rip a Rooney. And my first instinct was like, well, they're not gonna do it to any of the A-team scions, they don't have the gall. It's gonna be someone like Arenvold. Anyway. Oh, by the way, Death Unto Dawn. I was thinking about it more recently. Bahamut was the Dawn Father, and Tiamat was the Dusk Mother. Kind of reflecting the way it works on the Azim Steppe, right? But in Mirror City, it was like the Dawn King, and she was the Dusk Queen. So Death Unto Dawn was also anticipating the return of Bahamut and Tiamat sort of realizing that she had to put him to death. Again, finally, one last time. While such briefings are seldom exciting affairs, their importance in coordinating our efforts with our allies cannot be overstated. In that regard, Alian and Riol have been most dependable. Oh, I didn't expect to see you here, Ethys. But if you enjoy intelligence briefings, you've come to the right place. Well, look who it is. And what brings you two here? Wouldn't have anything to do with the big meeting, would it? In a manner of speaking, I've been assigned a task, you see, for which I require the assistance of former members of the Crystal Braves. Discount Thancred. He's a lot older than Thancred, I think. So, you want to know why we decided to stick with the Scions, eh? Ain't an easy thing to put into words, that. Remember, Riol was with the Company of Heroes as well. As I once explained to Ethys, I spent a long time agonizing over my failure to alert you to the traitors in our midst. For my negligence, I was captured along with many others, and we were powerless to prevent the tragedies that ensued. Not a day goes by that I do not think back to those fateful events. By joining the Scions, I hope to redeem myself, and I will continue to serve the cause for as long as I am able. But that wasn't my only reason. When we were finally reunited at the Rising Stones, you refused to blame anyone but yourself for the fall of the Crystal Braves. And in spite of everything that had happened, everything you had suffered, you took us back without a moment's hesitation. We would not have blamed you had you turned us away. But when you gave us your trust instead, what else could we do but try to repay it? Oh, that's the most lines Alien has had, like, the whole game. And it's something that Alphinaud has needed to hear for like 10 years. Nothing, that's what. As for my own tale, well, I've always felt the Scions has something to do, something in common with me old crew. The duty of the strong is to protect the weak. That was our creed, and I still strive to live by it to this day. Yeah, that's the Company of Heroes motto. The duty of the strong is to protect the weak. But as time's gone on, I've learned that strength comes in many shapes and sizes. From Ori Boulder to Mistress Tataru, we've all of us got something to offer. And not one of us is doing it for personal gain, because we believe there's more important things than that, things worth protecting, which is what being a Scion's all about. I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, my friends. To hear this from you means more than you know. Forgive me, Ethys, could you... Why do you think the Crystal Braves ended in failure? Well, its founding ideals were something to be proud of. Ideals alone don't make a crew. For every swab who signed up with good intentions, there was another who was only in it for the coin, the glory, or both. Ours was quite... ours was... wrong emphasis there. Ours was quite a disparate band. And while I will never forgive Ilbert, the fact that we managed to function at all was thanks in large part to his efforts. Just a pity he was doing it all for the wrong reasons, eh? Only takes one bad apple, they say, and the Braves had a barrel full of them. Not like the Scions. Might look like a ragtag band of misfits, but deep down, we've all got that shared sense of purpose. And why? Because Tataru sifted out all the glory hunters before they managed to make it through the door. I see. So while our ranks comprise of a diverse range of people, each with their own individual strengths, we're all united in purpose. Alphinaud is so surprised to learn that having a vetting process was like an important... jeez. Thank you, my friends. With your permission, I shall make a record of our discussions and refer to it when drafting my recommendations. Until we meet again. Tataru is not the bounce, it's just competent HR, which the Crystal Braves did not have. I'm sure you guys remember, Alphinaud was like, hey, just ask everyone, and like literally anyone that wants to join will take them. After the Company of Heroes went their separate ways, I did try working on my own for a bit, and I'll admit, it was nice being able to pick my own battles. But if you want to make a real difference, you need to find a good crew and stick with them. Speaking of former Crystal Braves, I've not seen Agmus. Excuse me. I've not seen Agmus of late. Constantly away on missions as he is. I wonder how he fares. Well, I think we have taken up enough of our colleagues' time, and I'm conscious that less life-affirming testimonies await. Let's make our way to Gridania and hear what the others have learned. On the way here, I took the opportunity to write up my notes from our conversation with Alian and Riol. All that remains is to add Alize and Graha's findings, whatever they may be. When Alize set her mind on something, there's no stopping her, and her mind was truly set on finding former Braves. For a while, I even feared what she might do to them, but in the event she was admirably civil, for the most part. Thanks to Sataru's ever-dependable intelligence, we managed to track down a handful of former Braves without any great difficulty. Some were forthright, others less so, but we heard enough to form a picture. I must warn you, Alphino, some of their comments were harsh. I can well imagine, but their opinions are no less vital to my report. I seek the unvarnished truth. Thank you. I'll set about adding your findings to my own at once. In the meantime, pray go on ahead to Little Solace and seek out Elder Frixio. I'll join you anon. Leave me to attend to my report and join the others in Little Solace. I shan't keep you waiting long. I know how playful the sylphs can be. Yes, Laurentius is still alive. He's in prison in Alamigo. Him and Yu Hase, right? I'm pretty sure it's Yu Hase. Now that I think about it, the four of us, only you and Alphino have had any real experience in conversing with sylphs. Still, it can't be that hard, can it? Oh, you have no idea. Though I had the honor of sharing a table with Elder Frixio in Alamigo, I did not have an opportunity to speak with him. I do hope my studies have granted me a sufficient grasp of these people's customs.
Welcome, Brave One and friends of Brave One. How good it is to see Walking Ones again so soon after the meeting.
Should this one perform the customary dance of greeting?
No, be at ease. It is true that these ones once delighted in making Walking Ones dance, but no more. Horned One, Kani Serra, said that Walking Ones would be coming to Little Solace. Imperial Ones also invaded Southlands and abducted many of these ones, so these ones will be glad to bear messages between fighting friendly ones.
That is heartening to hear, Elder. It will require all ones to work in unison to stop the Telophoroi.
These ones will try very hard, of course, but in matters of war, these ones have little experience. Any advice Walking Ones can provide would be most welcome. Oh, another pretty silver-haired one. And in quite a hurry, it seems.
Alize, you must come quickly. Whatever's the matter, Alphino? Don't tell me. You couldn't read my handwriting. What? No! A Twin Adder officer accosted me as I was about to set out. Sharlayan has sent an envoy who is due to arrive in Gridania at any moment. Ruh-roh. An envoy? Could it be the Krall has managed to sway the Forum? We shall know soon enough. But there is more. The envoy has requested that the two of us attend the audience with the Elder Seedseer. Oh shit. We're gonna meet Daddy, aren't we? Really? I can't see why they might want Scions to be present, but us specifically? Wait. It isn't who I think it is. Uh-oh. It is. I could scarce believe it myself, but when I inquired as to the envoy's identity, I was told it was one Fourchenault Levier. Alphino's come running to Alize being like, quick, Daddy's caught us! We're in so much trouble! He knows what we did. He knows we've been using these credit card all this time. Oh, I spent so much money on that sword. Oh, jeez. You gotta hide us. Ethys, have you got a car? You gotta get us out of here, man. Your father? Well, now, the fact that a serving member of the Forum had journeyed here would surprise enough, but him? Quite. I glean from this that they are taking the matter seriously. That may be, but why him, and not one of the other 98 Forum members? Unless he volunteered for it. It has been some time since you last saw your father, has it not? Could it be that he's concerned for your well-being? Perhaps. He has always been reluctant to discuss his work with us. Indeed. And whenever we write to our parents, it is invariably our mother who replies. Oh, okay, so Mum is still alive. Wow. That's interesting. Very, very few people in Eorzea have a mother. Nevertheless, I welcome the opportunity to meet with him after so long, even if it is secondary to his true purpose here. Elder Frixio, loath though I am to cut our visit short, we must return to Gridania. Pray accept my apologies along with my report.
Never mind. There will be time to talk later. This one won't keep walking ones from more urgent matters.
Go. The audience will be held at the Lotus Stand, where the Elder Seedseer awaits even now. Let us be on our way. Oh, I'm so excited for this. This is another thing that I've been waiting for like 7 years, right? Oh, Fourchenault was in the first encyclopedia, actually. I think that was where we first learned... Oh, no, we learned his name in Tales from the Calamity. That's right. And we first saw a rendering of him in the first encyclopedia. And I didn't even know whether the twins' mother was alive or not until now. We still don't know her name. At least I still don't know her name. It may well be revealed in this patch. But yeah, 14's really weird about mothers. I'm sure you guys have noticed. There's a lot of strong female characters in 14, which I love, but mothers in particular always seem to serve as like a crux or a fulcrum or a motivation for other characters. Never really have any substance of their own. Welcome, Warrior of Light. The Elder Seedseer and your friends are waiting within. Oh, this is so wild. During my time in Sharlayan, I heard much of Fourchenault Levier. He's a gifted speaker, known amongst other things for the uncompromising application of foreign policy. 99 may seem like rather a lot of members, but before the Forum was founded, every person of age in Sharlayan was given equal say in its governance. Many of the institutions that are still active today were established by the people's vote, not least the Studium. As Alizé and I were constantly reminded during our time there, it is an example of what can be achieved through absolute democracy. Sharlayan is basically just straight up like a Socratic republic. And those talks about like direct democracy are just kind of like, you know, another nail on that. After all this time away, it'd be good to see my father, even if it is at an official meeting. It's interesting that there's no apparent kind of like salt here between them. There's definitely gonna be though. We've seen the trailer, there's gonna be. My friends, I thank you all for coming so swiftly. Word of Master Fourchenault's visit took us quite by surprise. When the Alliance granted Mistress Crow permission to request Sharlayan's aid, we did not anticipate so prompt a reply, much less that it would be delivered by a member of the Forum. What the nature of this reply may be, we shall soon discover.
Elder Seedseer, I thank you for granting me this audience. I am Fourchenault Leveilleur, here in my capacity as representative of the Forum.
It is I who should thank you, Master Fourchenault, for journeying so far and so swiftly. Would that our first meeting could have been under happier circumstances.
It has been too long, Father. You look well.
As do you both. Ameliance will be glad to hear that you are taking care of yourselves.
There it is.
How is Mother?
She misses you terribly, of course, but is otherwise a picture of health. Circumstances apart, I'm grateful that our meeting has afforded me the chance to be reunited with my children at long last. And I believe I also owe you thanks for the hospitality you showed my father, Louisoix, during his sojourn in Eorzea.
All thanks we owe to him. In the days prior to the 7th Umbral Calamity, it was your father's tireless efforts which granted us a means to vanquish the primals. Were it not for him, our strength would have been quite spent by the time the Empire arrived. That Gridania still stands is in large part his achievement. He was a great man.
He would doubtless have been moved to hear you say so. I must confess, however, that I opposed his decision to intervene. And my position remains unchanged.
I don't know how any of them can be
To chart the course
surprised.
of history, not to change it. I am familiar with the Sharlayan stance.
It is more than that. It is our way of life, who we are. But I came here not to deliver a lecture, but the Forum's answer to your request. Sharlayan will under no circumstances intervene in the conflict between Eorzea and the Garlean Empire.
May I ask for what reason the Forum has come to this decision? The final days spell the end not only for Eorzea, but the entire world.
The final days? Pray spare me your hyperbole. This conflict is no more than the latest in a series of petty squabbles between yourselves and Garlemald, one in which Sharlayan will take no part. If the final days were truly upon us, we would know.
Father, you must ask the Forum to reconsider. You may feel safe on your little island across the waves, but if you imagine the Telophoroi will leave you be, you are mistaken. They mean to kill us all, themselves included.
Alphinaud is right. We have seen what the enemy is capable of, the lengths to which they'll go. This is no time to turn a blind eye. If Eorzea falls, so too will Sharlayan. So if you truly love our homeland, you will join us. Now, before it's too late.
I thought you knew better than to raise your voice to your elders. It seems I was wrong. Wrong to ever let you leave, Sharlayan. I consoled myself that your time abroad would instill in you some hint of restraint, of discipline. But I see now that Eorzea has made fools of you both. Have you forgotten why it was that I so vehemently opposed your grandfather's departure? For all his wisdom, his only solution was to go to war. Death, devastation, ruin. Even those who claim victory are scarred for life. What prize could ever justify such sacrifice? It is the duty of the learned to avert such tragedy. By fanning the flames of war, you forsake all you once held dear.
Who averted it, Fourchenault? Did you do that? Is that a thing you did? Ah, there we go. To ignore the plight of those we might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. Those are the words of Louisoix. Oh, he's gonna be real pissed at me for this one.
I see.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Shares your misguided ideals. But unlike him, you should know better. By espousing such barbaric notions, you subvert the teachings of Sharlayan and place all we have worked for in jeopardy.
So, coming into this, I was always wondering in the back of my head if Fourchenault might secretly not be a certain Asian underling. for whom you guys know I entertain quite a bit of endearment. But it seems like, no, he genuinely believes this stuff. I still think that Sharlayan was founded as an Ascian project. I'm still holding to that for now. But he seems to be really, like, genuinely convicted.
Fourchenault, Alizé, as of this moment, you shall no longer bear the name of Leveilleur.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. This is definitely one of those conversations where like 90% of the people listening are feeling really awkward. Oh wow. Fine!
What?
It was hard to spell anyway. I never knew whether it had one or two L's in the middle.
Concern. If you wish to walk the path of ruin, I will not stand in your way.
Master Fourchenault, while Sharlayan may have no intention of intervening in this conflict, we can still part as friends. Will you not stay and speak with us, that we might learn of Sharlayan's hopes for the morrow?
I have said what I came here to say. Any further discussion would be meaningless.